to somebody's character or taste. At the same time, it could mean similar, something compatible in taste, interest, attitude, or background. It could also mean friendly. So according to the passage, when we have congenial being used, indicates similarity. I'm going to read from the passage, that part. I'm going to read from the passage the exact part that indicates congenial, and that is the last sentence of the second paragraph. I read, finally, Abuja is in a central position for the whole region and is a town where learners from many different parts can find a congenial temporary home, and where the Emir and his council are actively interested in the project. So congenial in this context implies similar, and that is option D. So option D is the answer to question 10. Passage 3. The passage below has gaps numbered 1 to 20. Immediately following each gap, 4 options are provided. Choose the most appropriate for each gap. Each question carries 2 marks. Now to the passage. Whatever may be its wider applications, the explosion of hydrogen bomb is, for the meteorologists, simply another atmospheric disturbance. It should therefore be classed with certain rare natural dash: A. Law, B. Program, C. Occurrences, and D. Resources. The answer to this is option C, which is occurrences, and it actually refers to the occurrences of explosion of hydrogen bomb. Rare natural occurrences such as volcanic dash: A. Explosion, B. Insurrection, C. Exhaustion, and D. Eruption. Volcanic eruption. That is a vocabulary item that goes with the volcanic. So you can only say volcanic eruption. You cannot say volcanic explosion, volcanic insurrection, nor volcanic exhaustion. So our answer for question 12 is volcanic eruption, and that is option D. But there are certain features of a man-made disturbance that require special examination. As with all events on this: A. Scale, B. Scanner, C. Skate, and D. Snow. The answer is option A, and that is scale. As with all events on this scale, it is impossible to describe what happens in details. However, we can be reasonably sure of the main effects, and the most impressive of these arises from dash: A. Pressure gauge, B. Pressure waves, C. Pressure volume, and D. Pressure air. The answer is option B, and that is a pressure waves. So when we insert that, we are going to have, and the most impressive of these arises from pressure waves. The immediate result of the dash: A. Distortion, B. Reduction, C. Commotion, and D. Denotation. The answer is option D, which is denotation. And so we will have the immediate result of the denotation is that the air surrounding the bomb is raised very rapidly to an enormously high dash: A. Profile, B. Weight, C. Temperature, and D. Class. The answer to question 16 is option C, which will give us the immediate result of the denotation is that the air surrounding the bomb is raised very rapidly to an enormous temperature. The hot gases expand violent as great dash: A. Fire smokes, B. Firearms, C. Fireballs, and D. Fireworks. The answer to question 17 is option C, which is fireballs. So it will give us the hot gases expand violently as great fireballs, compressing the air around them into what is called dash A. Shock troop, B. Shock jocks, C. Shock therapy, and D. Shock waves. The answer is shock waves, and it will give us the hot gases expand violent as great fireballs, compressing the air around them into what is called shock waves or blast wave that is responsible for much of terrible destructive power of the weapon. Another kind of wave arises because of the air. The force of the explosion lifts the dash. Option A, height. Option B, form. Option C, atmosphere, and option D, space. And the answer is option C, which is atmosphere. And it is going to give us the force of the explosion lifts the atmosphere around the bomb. The gravity waves can also resemble ordinary dash. A. River, B. Stream, C. Lake, and D. Ocean. The answer is option D. Ocean, which will give us the gravity waves can also resemble ordinary ocean waves. Waves of this type are normally felt by human beings and they have their effect on the weather. The answer to question 20 is option D. And this ends the comprehension section of 2013 UTME past questions. Now to 2012 UTM Use of English past questions. Passage 1. Under Passage 1 we have 5 questions. And now to the questions. Question 1. Which question paper type of use of English as indicated above is given to you? So you are to look at the question paper and identify the type that is written on your question paper. And for this paper, the paper type red. Once you miss this, you miss all, because whatever answer you are supplying here will determine the marking guide. Since questions under type red will be different, the arrangement of questions under type red will be different from the arrangement of type yellow, type green, and type purple, as the case may be. Question 2. From the passage, one can say that all the ethnic groups have different traditional religions with some elements of similarities. B. Completely different religious practices. C. The same traditional religion. And D. The same religious manifestation with common deities. The answer is option A. The passage indicates that all the ethnic groups have different traditional religions with some elements of similarities. Question 3. According to the first paragraph, Nigerians believe that a supernatural and natural world coexist. Option B. Natural and supernatural worlds are antagonistic. C. Supernatural world controls the natural world. And option D. Supernatural world exploits the natural world. The answer is option C, because the passage indicates that supernatural world controls the natural world according to the beliefs of Nigerians. Question 4. Traditional religion has waned in Nigeria owing to the A. influence of Islam over Bohri spirits, B. influence of Christianity over local oracles, C. decline of interest in traditional religion, and lastly option D. influence of non-traditional religions. Option B is the final answer for question 4, and it states that it is owing to the influence of Christianity over local oracles. The second passage has 5 questions, and it begins with question 6 and ends at question 10. Question 6. It can be inferred from the passage that A. Nigerians have access to foreign books only. B. Nigerian undergraduates do not read textbooks. C. Nigerians read foreign and indigenous books alike. D. Nigerians read mostly foreign books. The answer is option D. According to the passage, the author indicates that Nigerians read mostly foreign books. Question 7. The reason for lack of indigenous books in most renowned bookshops, according to the passage, is A. Nigerians prefer reading foreign books. B. Foreign books attract more buyers. C. Indigenous books are sometimes not available. And lastly, option D. The low quality of the indigenous books. The answer to question 7 is option B, which states that foreign books attract more buyers, and this is stated in the passage. Question 8. The expression dash that